In the aftermath of the First World War and the Russian Revolution, a new nation emerged on the world stage. On December 30, 1922, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or USSR, was officially formed. It encompassed a vast territory spanning Eastern Europe and Asia, becoming the world's first socialist state. The USSR was born from the ashes of the Russian Empire, inheriting its diverse population and vast landmass. This new nation was founded on the principles of communism, aiming to create a classless society where workers controlled the means of production. The early years of the USSR were marked by a period of rapid industrialization. This was a time of immense change and transformation, as the Soviet Union sought to modernize its economy and infrastructure. Under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin, the country embarked on a path of collectivization and state control over resources. Lenin, the architect of the Bolshevik Revolution, introduced the New Economic Policy, or NEP, in 1921. This policy was a strategic retreat from full socialism to a mixed economy. The NEP aimed to revive the struggling Soviet economy by allowing limited private enterprise while the state maintained control of major industries. It was a pragmatic approach to stimulate economic growth and recovery. However, after Lenin's death in 1924, Joseph Stalin rose to power, ushering in an era of totalitarian rule. Stalin's leadership marked a significant shift in Soviet policies and governance. Stalin's brutal policies, including the forced collectivization of agriculture and the Great Purge, resulted in millions of deaths. These actions were aimed at consolidating his power and eliminating any opposition. He implemented 5-year plans to rapidly industrialize the country, transforming the USSR into a major industrial power. These plans focused on heavy industry and aimed to make the Soviet Union self-sufficient and militarily strong. The USSR faced its greatest test during World War II. In 1941, Nazi Germany broke its non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union and launched a massive invasion. The ensuing conflict, known as the Great Patriotic War in the USSR, was a brutal struggle that devastated the country and claimed the lives of millions of Soviet citizens. Despite the immense sacrifices, the Soviet Union emerged from the war victorious, playing a pivotal role in defeating Nazi Germany. The war cemented the USSR's status as a global superpower, but it also came at a tremendous cost in terms of human life and economic devastation. Section 4. The Cold War and Beyond. The post-war era saw the emergence of a new global conflict, the Cold War. This period was marked by intense political and military tension between the Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union, and the Western Bloc, led by the United States. The USSR and the United States, former allies against Nazi Germany, became locked in an ideological and geopolitical rivalry that shaped the latter half of the 20th century. This rivalry was not just limited to political maneuvering but extended into various aspects of life, including culture, science, and technology. This rivalry extended into every sphere, from military buildups and proxy wars to the space race. The world watched as these two superpowers vied for dominance, influencing global politics and economies. The USSR achieved significant milestones during this period, launching the first satellite, Sputnik, into space in 1957. This event marked the beginning of the space age and demonstrated the Soviet Union's advanced technological capabilities, and sending the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into orbit in 1961. Gagarin's successful mission was a monumental achievement and a source of immense national pride for the Soviet Union. These achievements showcased the USSR's technological prowess and fueled the competition with the United States. The space race became a symbol of the broader Cold War struggle, highlighting the intense rivalry and the quest for supremacy in every field. Section 5. The Collapse of an Empire. Despite its achievements, the Soviet system was plagued by inefficiencies and growing internal problems. The centralized economy struggled to meet the needs of its people, leading to widespread shortages and long breadlines. Factories were often outdated and inefficient, unable to compete with Western technology and production. By the 1980s, under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, the USSR underwent a period of political and economic reforms known as perestroika and glasnost. These reforms were intended to revitalize the Soviet economy and make the government more transparent and accountable. These reforms, aimed at addressing economic stagnation and increasing political openness, ultimately contributed to the weakening of the Soviet system. Public protests and demands for greater freedom grew, challenging the authority of the Communist Party. On December 26, 1991, the USSR was formally dissolved, marking the end of an era. The announcement was a historic moment, signaling the collapse of one of the world's superpowers. The collapse of the Soviet Union had a profound impact on the global balance of power, leading to the emergence of new independent states and reshaping the geopolitical landscape. Countries in Eastern Europe and Central Asia gained independence, and the world witnessed a significant shift in political alliances and economic structures.